Bonjour, today's lesson is all about understanding the difference between the imparfait and the passé composé, the imperfect tense and the past tense in French. Right, today's lesson objective is quite simple to understand the difference between the imperfect or imparfait or the passé composé and the passé composé, which is known as the past tense, and when to use them. Before we start, when you have a minute, please refer back to my lessons on how to conjugate a verb in the imperfect and the passé composé in French, as this lesson has only got for objective to show you the difference between the two tenses and not how to conjugate them. Okay. Now, let's have a quick reminder of when to use the imperfect tense. The imperfect or imparfait is a past tense. The closest translation for imparfait is the imperfect in English or past progressive or continuous. It is a tense which is used to describe an action which used to happen or was happening. So an ongoing event, habit that we used to do. So basically, it is used to refer to an action which started in the past and carried on over a period of time and eventually stopped. So it can be used to describe a habit. For example, je jouais au tennis tous les mercredis. I used to play tennis every Wednesday. Or it can be used to present an action that was going on when an event suddenly happened. For example, you could say je regardais la télévision lorsque quelqu'un a frappé à la porte. So I was watching TV when someone knocked on the door. Notice in this example that imperfect regarder, okay, is used for an action happening over a period of time. So this is me watching the television in the past and it carried on for an hour or so. And suddenly, the passé composé happened, okay? A frappé, has knocked on the door. So it's used a certain action that took place in the past and is over, gone, done with. So if you put these two tenses in a timeline, you will see that one tense, the imperfect, starts in the past and carries on like this. Then suddenly, the passé composé breaks it. Okay, happened. Please also note that the imperfect can also be used in description of a landscape, weather, etc. For example, you could say il faisait beau et les oiseaux chantaient. It was sunny and the birds were singing. And it can be used to describe memories as well or feelings. For example, you could say quand j'étais enfant, je rêvais de devenir chanteur. When I was a child, I used to dream of becoming a singer. Okay, so now let's have a look at the use of the perfect tense or passé composé, the past tense. The passé composé could be identified as the present perfect tense, which is used to describe an action which took place at a specific moment and is gone, done, over with, okay? This is exactly what I was trying to explain earlier on when I knocked on the door. Understanding the contrasting between the relationship between the passé composé and perfect is essential to communicating in French. Once you know which of these tenses to use, you must use the right endings. The best way to understand the relationship between these two tenses is for you to try and identify them in the following text. So, can you spot these two tenses when reading this French text? It is very, very important for you students out there that are going through the GCSE exams or taking any exams in French. You need to be able to differentiate between the two tenses, the imperfect and the passé composé. So I'm going to give you a little homework to do here and we will correct it together. Can you underline the passé composé and the imperfect tense in the following text? Now, look carefully and try to spot the passé composé and the imperfect tense. Now, remember that if you're not familiar of what the passé composé looks like or the imperfect looks like, please refer back on how to conjugate a verb in the passé composé and how to conjugate a verb in the imperfect tense. It's really important. Otherwise, you cannot do this exercise. Okay. Have a look at the text and let's read it together. Je suis allée chez ma mère ce week-end car elle m'a téléphoné la semaine dernière pour me dire que mon meilleur ami d'enfance était là. Nous étions très proches lorsque nous étions petits. Nous allions toujours dans la forêt. J'ai donné rendez-vous à cet ami à 16 heures devant la gare. Nous avons mangé une glace et nous avons marché dans la forêt, comme nous le faisions avant. Okay, so you've got the text in front of you here, and you are going to say, well, that is an imperfect, that is a passé composé. Let me remind you really quickly how to differentiate the two. When you have a passé composé, it is composed, okay, composé. It is composed of an auxiliary verb to have or to be, and a past participle, okay, usually interpreted with an accent at the end if it's a first group verb. The imperfect, however, will not be composed of two things, okay? It will be the verb and the special ending, which I remind you, please have a look at my other lessons on how to conjugate an imperfect tense, okay? The endings usually end with A-I-T, or A-I-S, or I-O-N-S, or I-E-Z, or A-I-E-N-T, okay? Now, let's have a look. The hardest thing you're going to be doing in this text is by spotting the verb, I think. Okay, so let's have a look at the text and have a look and name whether it's a passé composé or an imperfect. Je suis allée, that's a passé composé, chez ma mère ce week-end car elle m'a téléphoné. That is a passé composé. La semaine dernière pour me dire que mon meilleur ami d'enfance était là. Était, that's an imperfect. Nous étions, imperfect, très proches lorsque nous étions, imperfect, petits. Nous allions, imperfect, toujours dans la forêt. Now, all these imperfect tenses represent an action that took place and a habit that they used to do, okay? So they used to go to the forest all the time, okay, when they were little. J'ai donné, that's a passé composé, I gave. So that's an action that took place in the past and is gone, done, over with. J'ai donné rendez-vous à cet ami à 16 heures devant la gare. Nous avons mangé, that's a passé composé, an action that took place in the past and is gone, done, over with. So they ate an ice cream. Nous avons mangé une glace et nous avons marché dans la forêt. Again, a passé composé, comme nous le faisions avant. Just the way we used to do it. So a used to, an action, is an imperfect tense. Okay? Now, that's it for me on the imperfect versus passé composé video. Remember that you have a super guide available to this lesson, available at learnfrenchwithalexa.com. That's it for me. Au revoir, leave a comment and subscribe to Learn French with Alexa. C'est tout. Au revoir. Bibi, bibi, bibi. Bisou, bisou. Bibi.